Welcome to the wonderful world of the most important things to know before you go to Disneyland. If this is your first time going to Disneyland, the things that I'm going to tell you are very important and will make your day so much better, trust me. If you have already been there, I can guarantee that you don't know most of the things I'm going to be talking about. Please know that this video is not about the GENIE Pass or how to save money. No, I'm sorry. This is more about the things that nobody likes to talk about or nobody does talk about. And let me tell you, the first time that I went to Disneyland, I had a very rough day because I did not know these things. So I really want to help everybody out and let you know the things that I didn't know that should be talked about a lot more. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is accessibility. So when I first went to Disneyland, and yes, this is my trip that you're seeing, I didn't know anything about how they do this there. We called and asked. We got a lot of different answers. We had a ton of questions. And trust me, when you're there, it's a huge learning experience. So the things that I'm going to tell you with this are the most important things again. So let's get into this. With accessibility, with rides, you are able to go on rides if you are in a wheelchair or scooter. But what you have to do is you have to go to the accessibility lane, which instead of going through the normal line, you're going and you're scheduling a time to ride the next ride. You do have to schedule it. If the ride doesn't have a long line, they'll just get you on there right away. When you schedule your ride, they'll give you a time. You don't have to stand in a line or anything. You can just go with your party and walk around or do whatever you want until it's time for you to come back. The times that we had were about 20 to 30 minutes. There was one that was about 45. When you schedule them, you are not able to go on a different ride. You have to stick with that ride. If you want to go on a different ride, you can let those people at the new ride that you want to go to cancel your other reservation. For every ride that you enter in, you're going to enter through the exit every time, unless that ride has full accessibility access. At that point, you will go on your ride, and that's that. Now, with the full accessibility access rides, you have to understand that this is where I'm going to tell you. You need to also purchase the GENIE Pass if you want to, or else you're stuck in long lines with everybody else. This was something that I didn't know or realize because I didn't know that they had full accessibility access rides. So if you don't want to wait in long lines, you still need to get the GENIE Pass. It's definitely highly recommended. The last thing that I'll tell you with accessibility is that they do run out of them halfway through the day. So if you want one, even if you reserved one, they will still run out of them. So if you want one, you need to get there rather early than later. All right, moving on. So the next thing that I'm going to tell you about are broken down rides. Unfortunately, Disneyland is really, really old, and so are these rides. And as you can see, we have come across one in the video, and what she is telling us right now is that this ride is shut down. This happens to most of the rides in Disneyland. It happened to us with about 5 other rides while we were there. It was awful, but again, this can last from 15 minutes to about an hour. So while you're there, it's up to you whether or not you want to stay and wait or you want to leave. In some cases, and on some rides, you're actually not able to really get out of the line just because of how crowded it is. Eventually, if you really need to, they will let you go and help you get through there. But as for everything else, just be prepared that the rides do break down. So if you have one scheduled and you go on it and you're stuck there, it's really a better choice to just leave and come back. It messes with your schedule. It's really a big pain and it happens a lot. So just truly keep in mind that this could and probably will happen to you at some point. If not, congratulations. But other than that, yes, that's what you're seeing, and that is what happens with the rides at Disneyland. This next one is food reservations. Okay, it's one of my favorites, and I wish that I would have known about this a lot sooner. It was extremely disappointing to us and very, very sad, and this happened to us probably right around noon. So you have the Disney app that you must get, and while you have it, you are able to go into it and make reservations for a restaurant that you want to eat at. Now, this is mainly for the people that would like to go eat at an actual restaurant. Unfortunately, if you do not do this either the day before you go to Disneyland or right when you get there, everything will be booked by 2 o'clock. So you need to do this immediately. If you know what food you like, if you know where you kind of want to go, look them up, see which restaurants you want to go to, and book your reservation ASAP. And please understand that there are places to eat in Disneyland that don't require a reservation. It's basically you walk in, you stand in a line. It's kind of like a food court style, and then you go sit down and you eat and you leave. Otherwise, I'm mainly talking about restaurants. And there are quite a few of them, and they are very nice. And if those are the things that you are looking to do while you're there, which most people are, then you need to book it immediately. Number 4, Disney characters. I don't know about you, but ever since I was a little girl, my thoughts of Disneyland were a bunch of characters walking around, and you could go up to them and you could hug them, and they were just doing these awesome things with their little areas that they were in. And unfortunately, it's no longer like that at Disneyland. Now, as for California Adventure, they do walk around a lot and they are at certain locations. For Disneyland only, I only saw stormtroopers walking around, and that was it. Other than that, if you want to see them, they are in the front of Main Street when you come in, and you have to stand in a line if you want to take pictures with them. Only a few of them are out at certain times. Who knows if you'll see Mickey or Minnie or be able to get a picture with them. I do know that Mickey and Minnie are there at the very end of the night by the stairs. Other than that, this was really heartbreaking for me because that's what I expected. And then I found out that they mainly do that in Disney or in California Adventure. So just know that if you only have tickets for Disneyland, that yes, if you want a lot of pictures with the characters and things like that, you have to stand in a line in the front of the park and take pictures with them there. Number 5, ropes and shows. Now, this one was the saddest point of my entire experience at Disneyland because I didn't know any of these things that I'm about to tell you. So, anytime that a show is starting, you have to be there early, which I was, but they block off certain areas for these shows with ropes. I did not realize that you needed to be in the ropes in order to watch the show. If you are not within a rope area, you are stuck either walking around or trying desperately to find a place to watch the show. There are certain areas that you cannot go. They will block it off. There are certain places that don't allow you to be just even standing, especially in front of the castle while they're doing the firework display. As you can see in my video, you're not going to see any fireworks because I was unable to because of this rule. They have flashlights and they constantly tell you to just keep going, and you cannot stop and you cannot stand in any place other than these roped off areas. Now, my suggestion to you is check the times on the app. Ours did not have the correct time. They actually ended up changing the show. So don't only check the app or the map. You need to ask somebody because they did end up changing the time to the fireworks show that we ended up being late for because of that. So again, just make sure that you're on time, that you know the times, and that you hear the times from an actual person and not from an app or a map. Also, be aware that the workers are human and that as much as they want you to enjoy your time and have a great time at Disneyland, sometimes they can be a little rude. So just be aware of that as well. Especially if you're needing help, just know that when the sun goes down there, it gets a little crazy. So just be aware of everything that you're going to be doing. And again, just please make sure that you're asking for these times because I don't want this to happen to you the way that it happened to me and my family. Number 6, parking. Okay, so there are actually 2 different places that you can park for Disneyland. The one that we are coming up on in the video right now is the main one. That's the one that actually leads you to the Disneyland parking lot. And that is the one that I have no idea if you have to pay for parking whatsoever because we obviously did not go to that one. We needed to go to the drop off, and that is the one that you're seeing now. And this one actually seems a lot better because you're not having to walk 5 miles from your car to go to the park. Instead, you're parking your car across the street at a few places. There's quite a bit of them that you're allowed to park, and it's free. And you just walk across the street basically and go to the entrance of the park. This was great, and it again seems like it was a lot better than having to actually park in the Disneyland parking lot. So, and again, it's free. You know, I don't know if you have to pay for parking for Disneyland, but if you do, then this would definitely be a better bet for that. But yeah, so there's the drop off. And what you're having to do right now is just go down a light, and there is a huge place that you can park right there. And then down another light, there is another place, and down one more light, there's another one. But the entrance to the park is right there, and that's all that you do, and that is obviously also where the buses are as well. So this is the second part of the parking. Now, I know that there are a lot of people that have no idea about this, and from what I've heard when we have talked to people about this and going to Disneyland, that this was a lot easier than actually parking in the Disneyland parking lot. All right, so I'm getting ready to wrap this up, but before I do, I'll just tell you some really quick little tips that I learned here. For all you smokers out there, you cannot smoke in this park. Where you saw the Disneyland Resort sign, that is where they make you go to smoke. So, and that does include vaping. All I have to say to that is just figure it out. Those are metal detectors. They are not x-ray machines. Also, another thing for the women and men that want to get ears. When you first walk into this park, they have ears right at their little stations. Okay, I did not know that you could actually buy ears everywhere throughout the park. So again, that was just me not knowing. And for you just to know that if you don't want the ears that they have there, you can go throughout the park and get them. Or if you want ears immediately, you can buy them right when you get there. Keep your receipt, and you can exchange them anywhere you want to at any of the stores or locations. As far as everything else, if y'all have any questions, definitely let me know. Other than that, I would definitely recommend getting the GENIE Pass. I think that it's completely worth it. I know that a lot of people ask about how big your bag can be when taking it in here. Like you can see right there, there is a guy that has a huge backpack. Mine's probably bigger. So size doesn't really matter. It's all about what's inside of it. Also know that there are no phone charging stations anywhere in Disneyland. As you can see on my channel, I go to SeaWorld a lot, and they have charging stations. In Disneyland, there is absolutely no place to charge your phone or anything, so make sure that you take those spare chargers with you. They do have places in the park that you can buy chargers. We went to one in Small World, and it was awful because it was the middle of the day. The machine heated up and it would not work because it was overheated because it's sitting directly in front of the sun. It was crazy, but just keep in mind that no, there's no place to charge your phone or any other electronic device that you have that would need a charger. Well, that about wraps it up for me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like the video. Like I said, if you have any questions, please ask. If I can't answer them, I'm sure somebody else can, or I can find out the answer for you. I absolutely love showing you this video. I hope that you get some good information from it. If you already knew all of this stuff, fantastic. Share it with everyone, because trust me, I wish that I had a video like this before I left on my trip. Thank you all so very much, and take care.